sky. Tall grass dancing down by the St. John's riverside. And I can see Maggie running through the fields full of wild. A free spirit living a beloved life. I've been daydreaming about the South, appreciating those days. Growing up in Madeline, a blessed world in the Southeast. I remember running barefoot well aware of sand spurs. Sitting on the park bench working on guitar chords. I'm still enchanted by the legendary fantasy electric brunettes. How they would render me helpless by the way that they dressed. I've been daydreaming about the South.
So many of you probably wonder what's it like to live in a kayak for 365 days and travel 10,500 kilometers. Well, you'll have to wait a bit because I've only completed 37 days and I'm just not too short of 1,500 kilometers. To be truthful, I feel like a sea kayaker. I'm not a professional, but I'm experiencing the wear and the tear of sea kayaking. I think I've just about pretty well encountered the most. But to be truthful, I've paddled anxiously since I left the port of Halifax on the 2nd of June. I've experienced, you name it, but I know that I'm not out of the comfort zone until I reach the Ottawa River. Right now before me, there's going to be tides, which creates its own current, and there's currents which can most often work against the tides. There's greater variations in the height and depth of the tides along the shore, and there's a lot of wind in the St. Lawrence, and I'll be happy when I'm through it. Right now, I've reached the Bay of Sable, and I've been here now for just a couple days. I'm going to set sail this afternoon around 1 o'clock when the wind dies down a bit, heading towards Quebec City. That's my next goal. But I'm enjoying it. But let's just recapitulate on the past 5 days, and I also want to give you my 3 kayak tips based on my experience. You're not going to find these in a book. It's just on what I've experienced. So let's dive into it. Okay?
Appreciating those days. Growing up in Madeline, a blessed world in the Southeast.
On day 33, I paddled from Grande Vallée to Mount Louis. I kayaked some 51 kilometers, and I experienced something that I've never experienced before, and I hope I don't experience it again. Okay, again, you've just got to measure the distances, and I didn't do it. I am paddling a wall that started 1.5 hours ago. This goes all the way for around, I don't know, 10, 15 kilometers until you can't see it. I call that the wall of death. And this is my biggest fear. Even though it's a perfect day, I know that there is a big wind that usually comes in at 12 o'clock. I was in the water at 5 o'clock, wanting to make some time because I was landlocked yesterday. But this is my nightmare, being caught in an area where there is no escape. That wall over there is at least 2.5, 3 meters over waterline. And if suddenly the wind should blow up, that is the wall of death, without a doubt. So, kayakers, paddling this way, remember the wall of death. Yeah, Highway 132 is a beautiful scenic coastal route that basically starts in a place called Le Bic and ends in a place called Riviere au Renard. I'd like to do it again, but not in a kayak. I'd like to do it again in a nice, fast sports car with warm air and a bit of comfort.
I've been thinking about the sea, searching for that sun. I can feel the summer wind. I remember everyone.
Day 34 took me 34 kilometers from Mount Louis to Le Sauveur. I just stopped for lunch, but when I was finished with lunch, the tide had gone out so far and the wind had picked up so much that I just had to give up. So I spent my time just exploring the neighborhood and went to a really nice little lighthouse and just said, this is it, I'm stuck, I'm gonna be here. So why not enjoy it? On day 35, I paddled 62 kilometers from Le Sauveur till a place called Café. The first half of the day was okay, but the second half was very rainy and windy. And I was making a beeline for a small cove that I'd seen. And it was just about impossible to come into land until you get to that cove. Well, around 2 kilometers from the cove, I was probably battling with, I would think, close to, I bet 15 to 20 kilometer per second winds, and there's whitecaps all over. Ahead of me, I saw a rubber kayak with 2 guys in it, battling the wind and trying to get to shore into the same cove. I kayaked right behind them and right up to them, and I said, "Hi, do you guys need help?" And they just jumped. It was like God coming out of the wilderness to save their lives. No life jackets, totally unprepared. And these kayaks, they're not made for waves. They're made for a bathtub. Anyways, I towed them to land and got them into safety. And I got myself into safety because it was the only place I could actually beach my kayak in, I would think, around a good 15 kilometers of coastline.
I've been thinking about the sea, searching for that sun. I can feel the summer wind.
On day 36, I kayaked some 48 kilometers. I left Café at around 7:17 in the morning after I had a nice breakfast and made my way towards Menton. I struggled with a lot of headwinds the whole day and was rather tired. And even though I could see the lights of Menton in the horizon, and thought I could probably overnight in a nice port, I pulled into a place called Petit Menton. And there on the beach, I met a nice family from Montreal. And it seems like everybody here is from Montreal. All the beach houses, every house, but they're really nice people. So I just spent the night, had a great sleep, and got up the next day fit for fight. Day 37 was a fun day. Then I hit tremendous fog. All along my journey, I don't think that I've encountered this dense fog, but I have a feeling it will lift. And yeah, but wow. I know there's a ferry coming in and out around here, so I don't want to be in that ferry lane. You can rest assured of that. I had to go around the ferry terminal, and I heard this ferry in the distance, and I didn't want to get caught in any type of collision. But anyways, I ended up paddling around 5 hours in fog, and you know, if you look at my track, it's like this going into land and going out, and it was very difficult just to put my compass on one, you know, like 270 or 240 or 210. It was extremely difficult. Okay, here's the entrance to the port or the ferry terminal. It's the fog is so low, so I'm just gonna go around the tip here and then just follow the stones all the way back to the beach on the other side, and I think I've got it made. Okay, this morning was extremely foggy, and I just got tired of going like in the shore, out the shore, get around the rocks, find out where I was. So I was paddling, and suddenly I saw this boat ramp. So I just paddled towards the boat ramp and docked my kayak. And I took a walk down the lane and hung a left, and there was a little grocery store, and I was able to buy some stuff. And then I started looking around at what a quaint little seaside village. So I went for a long walk, and here are some pictures of the different houses that are along the main road that goes through the village. What impressed me the most was the church. It's like the roof is silver. So now I've been here for around 2 hours, and the fog is finally lifted. So I'm going to continue my little journey.
I've been thinking about the sea, searching for that sun. I can feel the summer wind. I remember everyone.
The father, he came out with a really nice meal and a nice glass of wine. Well, there might have been 2 glasses of wine actually. And then this morning I was able to go to a cafe and work on my video. Antoine, the son-in-law to Gilles, he's a fantastic kite surfer, and I was able to take a couple of pictures of him. He's really good, and the kite surfing here is not too bad. Okay, these are basically my 3 tips for kayaking. Number 1, measure the distance. I've been using Google Maps and plotting my route every day, but then I get a bit tricked because it looks like crossing a bay is so small, but actuality I need to measure it, because instead of 2 kilometers it could be 5. And if you don't measure the distance, you're going to get yourself into big trouble, just like going along the wall of death. I thought it was just going to be a short distance. No. No. Like I said, it took 2 hours, and a lot of things can happen in 2 hours. Weather can change. You can find yourself in extreme difficulties. Measure the distance before you paddle. The second tip is to make good and quick decisions when you got to make them. And the way I've been making my decisions is basically to observe what's happening around me. How do you observe what's happening around you when you're paddling? First, you listen. You can hear you can hear the wind increasing actually before you see the white caps forming. Another part of observing is also to see. Look around you. Don't look ahead, but do a 360. Okay, I'm trying to outrun that storm behind me. I'll give it a try, but I know it's coming, so it's just a matter of I'm just crossing a little bay here. It'll be okay, I'm sure. We'll see what happens. Okay, this is quite scary.
I really don't want to be here, so I'm going to go right into land as quickly as I can. I just have to get around this rock formation here. But how do set maken? Ouch, I don't like this.
A couple times I've been taken by surprise with storms approaching behind me. Yesterday, a car stopped and a guy got out and he whistled to me and he beckoned me into land. I thought he wanted to talk to me, so I went towards land. And as I went towards land, I saw the storm coming behind me in full force. And anyways, he just drove off, but he was concerned. There was lightning, there was thunder, it was all just flying in. So make sure that you observe what's happening around you in order to make the right, quick decision.
Okay, I've taken my tent and made a makeshift. I tried to get into this into there, but it was a bit too small. So I'll just wait this storm out under my tent. Okay, it should be okay. It'll pass, I hope.
Sometimes difficult, but it's important. And that's to obtain knowledge about your route. Kayaking 10,500 kilometers is just about impossible for me to plan every kilometer. It just won't happen. But I depend upon people to help me. A friend who's going to be a friend, a guy called Frederick, he's been giving me some tips on how to paddle further down the St. Lawrence, Rimouski area, what I need to do, what I don't need to do. I met a guy in the port at St. Anne's, and he showed me the different charts of where the currents and the tide works. It's important to have as much knowledge about your route. Okay, I didn't have knowledge about the sea route. I didn't have knowledge about Route 132, but I survived it. All the knowledge you can get beforehand is going to aid you in making a safe and comfortable crossing or a passage. Get the knowledge, get the information about the route that's ahead of you. 3 tips, and I'm sure that should make for a bit better paddling without a bit of nervousness like myself.
Then you say bonjour, hello, happy to see you.
I really enjoy nice, cozy places. And I'm sitting here at a cafe called Café. And I came early in the morning, and after 2 cups of coffee latte, and some things I shouldn't eat, like a chocolate croissant, I had 2 of them. But I'm justified because I'm paddling so much, so my body will just burn it up. But they were really nice and really good cafe when you're in this area, the Bay of Sabla. So drop in, and it's not that expensive actually. That's one bad thing about coming to land, coming to shore. You just spend too much money. And I feel, shouldn't spend so much money. shouldn't.